Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today. As Tanir mentioned, I'll be walking you through the various modules he's touched upon. So I'll start with our patient recruitment solution, or PR, as I'll be calling it. We can create a public-facing website for you to add actively recruiting trials to. What is a clinical trial? You can post blogs. So all of this information can be available to those interested volunteers and patients. They can come in, register, sign up to receive email notifications for new trials. This is all configurable that we can create here. So enter a specific study. We can read more about the study. We can see the inclusion, exclusion criteria. They can determine if they want to proceed with selecting a location, if that's applicable. If there are multiple locations, they can choose one closest to them. And we have a couple steps here. So registering their interest just in general for that trial, they can go ahead, take it a step further, go through a pre-screen, and then even take it one step further, and they can, if they qualify in that pre-screen, they can continue to book their screening visit at that particular site. Again, if there are multiple, they have that option and they can select what time works for them. Ahead of the screening visits, you can send that volunteer their login credentials to access our participant portal or our volunteer portal, whatever you'd like to brand this as, so they can log in with their credentials, access any e-consents ahead of time. This portal can be used for them to re-log into later on if that study has e-pros or they have to complete e-diary entries. We can make those available, track any payments due to them, and then additionally, view any studies that they are actively participating or have previously participated in. So we have these portals available for them to complete that electronic e-consent and additional functions as well. Internally, we are looking at our Cloudbyz PR homepage. Includes a dashboard. You will see this dashboard change as I switch to the various modules that we have available. Within our PR, we can manage our recruitment campaigns, create those and manage those participant leads that are coming in from that website, manage those volunteer profiles. I also have a query manager here. So I can use this tool to create a targeted list of specific populations based on criteria for a specific study, specific demographics I can target. So for example, we'll query our volunteer profile list for specifically males, African American race, perhaps, apply that filter, and we see this shortlisted for us. So with this list, I can save it, I can export it, I can add these volunteers to a campaign. By saving the query, this will allow me to be notified whenever there are volunteers added to the system or registering that meet that criteria that I've outlined here, so I can stay on top of those and reach out to them as they're coming in. So that's a little sneak peek at our patient recruitment. I'll seamlessly switch gears into our CTMS application from the app launcher there. Once again, as I mentioned, that dashboard is going to update to show us different metrics here because we're in a different application. Across the system, we have this subscription feature, so I can subscribe to receive any dashboards, any reports directly in my email. I can also sign up my stakeholders, like those sponsors and those CROs, to also receive these notifications and reports and dashboards in their direct in their inbox as well. Moving along to our studies tab. So we can view them, they are sorted. We are currently looking at all of our studies sorted by their study status. This is just an example of one of the views we can have. You can sort by sponsor, you can sort by phase, therapeutic area. It is really up to you and your preference there. We'll enter in our cardiac arrest study that we were taking a look at before. So within that study record, we can see key details in our compact layout. These are configurable fields, and then also some quick action buttons along the top. And you'll see these change as I go through the various objects. But basically at the click of a button, I can generate an invoice. I can create that study startup checklist, view my delegation log, etc. So there's various buttons that you can keep an eye on there along the top. Below that, we see where our study is in its life cycle, currently set to enrolling for us, and we have our sub tabs that I'll be going through within this study record. Details include study information. This can be also, again, configured. If you wanted to capture different information, that is no problem. Our planning sub-tab allows us to generate milestones and tasks from a template, saving us some time there. So we have milestones and associated tasks. Those can be assigned to individuals. They can have due dates and notifications all associated with that as well. Study team members under our planning. The visit plan is nothing but a schedule of events from the protocol. This is required to have that eSource function and that CTBM, that budget management. So we'll get to see that shortly. Our subjects sub-tab here, roll up of all of our subjects and their subject visits and status. A nice graph for us to check out those completed payments for those subjects, stipends. An aggregate view of our adverse events. A nice graph we've introduced here. Protocol deviation, so those can all be tracked within our study. Training sub-tab includes training topics, so these can be created and assigned to different staff members. They will get that notification. They can log in and track that they've completed that training. In the event that there are multiple sites, you have satellite sites, site network, you have the ability to associate those sites to a particular study. So we'll take a look at our site here, 100 Scott. Again, key details. We can see that that site is currently set to enrolling. Details about that site, general information, assignments, etc. Startup just includes those site team members as well as their responsibilities, and this is going to feed into that electronic delegation of authority log. So that can all be routed within the system for signatures, electronic signatures, and then filed in the eReg as well. Site level milestones and tasks. Example of a checklist here, essential documents checklist. This can come directly from a, again, template. You can track the collection of essential documents, check out the training logs that have been assigned for this site and who it's been assigned to. So all of that can be managed within the startup of our site record here. The monitoring calendar just takes a look and shows us we have any upcoming monitoring visits. Looks like there's an IMV next Thursday. Site level subjects, once again, a nice graph for us to see them based on their subject status. Financials, so we're able to see budgets, payments, sponsor invoices here available for us to track. We'll take a look quickly into that budget. We have an approved version here. Right, so we're looking at our site budget for this particular site, for this particular study. We can see the version, the status, the information like the subjects and things like that are coming directly from that study details, so no need to enter that. We can calculate indirect cost percentages as well, and then each budget line item has individual tasks too that we can add and collate. Take a look at those. Our site fees, for example. Subject costs, again, this is pulling directly from that visit plan that we would have created. So we see our visits across the top, mimicking our schedule of events from the protocol, procedures, or assessments on the left, and then we're just seeing at what point those procedures occur. And then we have associated costs with all of those. So that's going to be able to give us that nice site budget view. Alrighty. So coming back to our site, let's come back to our site, cardiac arrest study. Again, adverse events and PDs at the site level. We have risk management that can be included, trial supply management, kits and shipments tracking. So that's all available again within the CTMS system for your users to take a look at there. We'll switch to our eSource now. So again, that homepage dashboard has updated. This can also be user specific too. So various users of the system can be viewing different metrics upon logging in, whatever's relevant to their role. Something new here in this application is our forms library. So this is where we house our eCRF templates. So commonly used forms that we will use over and over again, as long as it's built in our form library once, you have the ability to import these eCRFs, these forms, these ePros, etc., into your study to make further study-specific edits if that's required. This is really going to save a lot of time when you're setting up those studies, because we have this forms library to choose from, and that's something that can grow over time. You can add to this at any time. We'll take a look at our vital signs eCRF here, just to get an idea of what that looks like. There are sections. Within the section, we have various fields. So vital signs, details, blood pressure, height and weight, etc. These are just samples here. I'll open up our systolic blood pressure field so we can take a look at that. The system has over 25 different field types. This particular field is a number field, so with that comes some configuration values. We can set the length of the number, any decimal places. Looks like we've enabled units to say that this is specific units for this field. There are additional functions here. We can have help text. We've said that this field is required or mandatory for data entry. We can have blinding set up. Looks like there's a rule enabled here, so we can take a look at that. And then just indicating if SDV, source data verification, is required or not for each field, that can be set up, or if it's just a data review process that's required. So that can be set for each field. As I said, we had a rule set up here, so it looks like the rule is telling us that when there is data entered outside of this expected range of 90 to 120, it's going to populate a message on screen for us, but we have the ability to bypass that. So it's not a hard stop. There are various actions that can go along with these rules. And the idea is really just to allow our users to feel comfortable setting up these CRFs, building their own rules, and being able to have those edit checks and automations in place. Okay, so that's just a quick look at the forms library. In terms of data entry though, we can do that at the study level, we can do it at the site level, we can do it at the subject level. I'll take a look at our clinical site, Welland General Hospital. We are in this site record and about to begin some study data entry. This site is considered enrolling, so I have the ability to add new subjects as they come along. Below that, in the status, I'll give this just a moment to load up here. There we go. We have various subject statuses we can see. Can also toggle to see my data statuses. So how am I doing for my data entry? Are there any anything requiring PI signature? Any data errors? That. Our subject records are along the left-hand side. We'll take a look at those shortly. There's a couple different ways that we can view our data as well. So currently we're looking at tree view, but Preferred is also that matrix view, so I can take a look here, see all of my subjects, what is their status, how are we doing with each of those visits that they have. We can see those icons telling us if there are data entry errors, open queries, is it review in progress. So we can take a look at the visit level, the ECRF level as well, and the forms level. So that's all available for viewing. We'll come back to our tree view, pop open subject 33 here, expand this, and we have visits and forms. Forms are our available forms for data entry at any point. So adverse events, for example, concomitant medications, they're not associated with a particular visit. Whereas if I expand my visits, we get to see, again, a very basic schedule of events from our visit plan. I'll just open this up. There we go. Screening, visit one, end of study, very simple here just for our demo purposes. Expand my screening and I can see we have various CRFs, demographics, eligibility, physical examination. Those have all been completed. They're check marked off for data completion, and we can see our screening visit is still considered in progress because our vital signs has yet to have any data entry done. So we'll take a look at that. We can start entering some data, and we can also see that rule that we had set up on our systolic blood pressure field. Some branching logic here. If I say yes, the vital signs were performed, we're going to see those applicable fields and sections appear for us to complete our data entry. This red asterisk is just indicating that this is a mandatory field for us. We saw, again, over 25 different field types that are available, multi-select, single select, numbers. We'll put in a crazy number just out of the realm of what we had set here for that validation rule, and we'll save that and you can see that trigger. Bear with me as I just complete some data entries. You can see no negative values are allowed on this field. We have some question help text here as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. We also have auto saving features as well to just help with ensuring that no data is lost while we're entering data. We don't want to have to do double data entry or anything like that. So as we can see, it's triggered an error for us. It's just telling us that the value we have entered is outside of the expected range. As I said, we set that up as a rule there, so I can correct or confirm that or bypass that and add a note. All of that will be captured in the audit log. So that is at each field level, we're going to capture that. Anytime a field is also updated, we're going to have to capture why are we updating this field, and again, all of that is available in the audit log. So once our data entry is completed, we have, I'll just take a look at our demographics, for example, additional fields that appear for data reviewers to come in and they can complete a data review. As I said, that can be at a question level setup if that's required to be in place. That can be set up per study as well. Queries can be issued at each field level, automated queries or manual queries issued by the reviewer. So we can set a priority on that query. It can be assigned to a specific user of the system or a specific role that is also available. Set a category and then enter those query details. So again, those will all be captured in the audit trail as well. Once review is completed, there are no outstanding queries. We have the ability to set up API signature. That is a 21 CFR Part 11 compliant signature. That can be done at the subject record level. It can be done at a form level, so signing off on maybe SAEs. It can be done at a visit level as well. If I open up subject 30 here, I believe we have our screen visit signed off. Right, so it would notify the PI, they can come in. As you can see, this is now considered locked. No more data entry can be completed because this PI has signed off. I can view that signature, again, compliant with 21 CFR Part 11, electronic signatures, capturing all of those details. And that's just, again, can be done at the visit level, form level, ECRF level, subject record level. That is all configurable. So that was just a quick, again, sneak peek at our eSource. I'll switch gears now, again, one more time for our final module, taking a look at that eReg. A nice specific dashboard to our eReg, documents expiring by status, etc. Directly into our eReg tab here. I'll just orient ourselves. On the left-hand side are all of our study folders, or our root folders. These are our studies. As you add a study to the system, we have automations in place so that the root folder will automatically get created. We can have automations to automatically create whatever folder structure you would like to have implemented, and that can change study to study as well. So here we just have a custom ISF folder structure that we have here, including a holding area. The thumbnails are generated on the right-hand side here, and it's telling us within this folder, we have 7 total documents. We can see 7 pending review. It looks like there's 1 expired. How many are considered complete? So that would be considered a review process in place. And then also how many folders are empty, and we have a rejected count again for that approval and review process if that's required. Again, a couple different ways we can view. Currently, these are thumbnails. If I change this to a list view, that's my preference because, again, I can see within each folder without actually having to click in if there's any pending review or expired. These are hyperlinks as well, so at any point I can take a look and click in to see what are those pending review documents that I can action. What are those expired documents that I can action a lot quicker, and at any point those can be, you can take a look at those at any time. As I said, it is a custom folder structure can be applied, DIA or otherwise. The system can support that. So we'll go ahead and take a look at our holding area. We'll go in there. Right, so we'll just take a look at uploading. You can drag and drop or upload directly from your computer. Depending on what that review process looks like, we'll work with you to configure a workflow that works so that all of the applicable parties get the notifications when a document is uploaded, and we can restrict certain actions to certain users as well. I'll take a look at this document that we uploaded. Side-by-side view is great because we're able to see the document on the left-hand side as well as that metadata on the right. So I can enter that. Again, these fields are configurable if you want to capture different information. And that, again, can go through an approval process. If you have multiple reviewers, that can be configured as well. Notifications for those upcoming expired documents, X number of days before that document is set to expire, that can be sent to the appropriate staff members so they can action that. So that was it in terms of being able to leverage all of the modules across the unified platform there. We also have, as I mentioned, portals. We saw that volunteer or participant portal. You can also leverage CRO portals, sponsor portals, to have those third parties view any data that they might be entitled to see.